So here we are. What we have so far is a 1997 Harley Davidson Road King Evo. This is a police bike. I've done some not modifications but restorations to it. I'm about to go into a next step of restoration. This is a police bike that's been sitting for 17 years, so it needs a little bit of touching up and stuff, but I just pulled off the passenger pegs, pulled off the floorboards from here in the front. The main thing that I'm going to do next is pull off this primary cover. Once I get through the primary cover, we're going to get to the clutch. I have the clutch tool on the way. It's supposed to show up today. I'm going to pull the clutch pack. I'm going to check and see if I have that little spindly thing with all the little rivets and the hoo-haws. If I don't have that, then I can just slap it all back together after I change the clutch hub bearing. And then I'm going to take a look generally inside and see how it is, readjust everything, set it back together, and go to town. I'm going to try a different setup if I can this time, and maybe use my phone and see how it works out. Start off by draining all the primary fluid there. The primary fluid. Here's the drain plug down here. It's gonna get plugged in. There we go. Let's go ahead and loosen that up. Some material, some sediment. Let's find out what that is. Got it all draining, and for the most part, actually all the bolts loose except for the two inspection covers. I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing off now. I think it's pretty much done draining from the two spots that it's been draining at. Pull it off. Let's see how it looks. I got to get some rags first so I know where a place to put it. Now, to my knowledge, that looks like it. All the bolts except for this top one. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off, see how it looks. Put it on top of the table and inspect and start to clean out the gaskets and stuff like that. I did find a little bit of material here on the top of the drain plug, which I wasn't too happy about, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that and see where that comes from. Over here, I don't notice too much of an issue so far. So far, all the gears look and feel clean, at least here on the starter ring. Everything here feels good. I don't feel any wobble or shake in the hub itself that feels excessive. The chain feels good. The tension, I already checked the slack, it's good. There's no play here. I did find a little bit of metal bit up top here. I took that out. I need to see down here and see what I find. It's just, so far, dirty oil is all. Dirty oil. Dirty oil. Again, this bike has been sitting for 17 years. I just did its first three-hole oil change about 4 months ago. Maybe put 150 miles on it. So this is its second change for the primary, second change already done for the transmission, and I've already done 2 changes for the oil. So I've been trying to keep up with the oil, trying to keep up with the fluids, flush them out as soon as possible. This gasket does look like a James gasket, which means somebody's been in here to do some repairs, most likely. The guide itself has minimal wear on it. It feels pretty good in my opinion. I don't feel any grooves or anything in it. I'd say I'm pretty happy with that. No play there in the compensator. No play in the hub whatsoever. But I gotta take this thing off. I gotta get the clutch tool first so I can pull this snap ring off. Gotta measure that up and see what kind of tool I need to get that snap ring off. Again, just dirty oil. I'm happy with that. I'll take it. I'll take it. Here we go, Joe. I'm gonna grab this thing. That's it. Nothing at all. Nice. So unfortunately, as things goes, I turned out to be a little bit of a moron, and I decided to take off the wrong snap ring as opposed to this snap ring, and man, what a terrible mistake. I broke the pressure plate on the inside. Now I think I'm gonna have to cut off this snap ring here in order to release that plate and then be able to take off the rest. I tried putting the snap ring back on, and I did it. I got it in there, but when I started torquing down the tool again, and broke the rest of that. Shittles. Oh well. So I think I saved the pressure plate. It's just got a couple of these little beep beeps, but it's nothing you can touch with a fingernail. The pressure plate, unfortunately, or sorry, that was the spring disc or whatever. The pressure plate itself is fucked. go ahead and start pulling off these discs and see what's going on. Looks like everything's clean. All the mating surfaces are all clean. They all feel good. I'm gonna have to do minimal touch up here just to clean it up to make sure this mating surface is nice. I don't feel any parts missing. I don't feel anything missing. No chunks, pissed off or taken off. There's a little bit of grime here, but I can clean that up. That's not a big deal. That's just casting stuff. Diaphragm. That's in the new kit. I'll replace it when I put this all back together and I adjust it. But overall, the oil did get dark compared to the way it started. But it is the first time it was changed in a long time, and the friction and the discs haven't been together, or at least haven't been separated in a long time. So at least that got taken care of. Let's go ahead and show you what we have over there. So in my infinite wisdom, trying to pull off the snap ring, I pulled off the wrong snap ring and broke the pressure plate. Not a big deal. It is a big deal though. I broke this little tooth off and a little bit here, but overall there's a place for it to go, and all the rest, oh man, I broke. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna bring it in, pulled out all the plates. At least all this portion in here looks really good. Looks really clean. All that's clean, and this rotates nice and smoothly. So we'll see what happens. So this is the rivet disc. Look at that sucker. As I moved it, oh, there you go. Some more of the rivet stuff falls out. Look at that. That's exactly what it was. So I've got the opportunity to run some of the parts through some of the things that I broke and some of the things that I need to fix. If we look over here, I have some parts. This is part of the ringland for the pressure plate. You can see that's where it's beveled in. I screwed that up. That's like a locating ring, if you will, for the pressure plate. This is part of the actual, I forgot what Harley calls it. I think it's like a spring plate. And the spring plate essentially has these shims in between. Let me go ahead and pull that out forward. That spring plate is compressed of this. And if you notice in some spots like here, you'll see that it has a gold rivet on the inside. Well, these gold rivets eventually with time, as these things start to move and shift, you'll see how it separates the teeth. And so it'll move like this back and forth on the teeth, shearing these rivets. And then what happens is you end up with little bits like this. Little stuff like this, like this, like this. And I saved some of them just so I can show you. So this ultimately ends up in the clutch basket. It ends up in the clutch, the bearing and the clutch itself and the little tracks, and it doesn't allow the plates to move smoothly back and forth on the clutch basket itself. It hangs up, it doesn't allow it to move, it gets caught, it catches a couple plates, changing all of its positions. If you notice, it's already really is coming apart as we talk to it. I just kind of disintegrated as I pulled it out of the motorcycle. So I'm glad I got taking a look at that. Thank you, Mountain Joe. Thank you, Joe, the Mountain Jedi. This I had to cut off. As you can see, I expertly cut that sumbitch. No, I'm just joking. I mean, I cut it expertly, but still, it's not something I'm very proud of. Yep, more lessons to learn. This is from the clutch, the pressure plate. This is more of that stuff from the spring plate. This, I forget what this is called, but it's basically the backing plate, whatever it is, where the screw comes in for the adjustment, so that way you can adjust the pressure plate itself and the throw. And then this is the snap ring that holds the pressure plate, the pressure plate onto the clutch hub. This one is still good. I'll be able to use that again. I did order a new snap ring for the outside, which I cut up over here, like this one here that continues all the way around. Or not order, but I got one, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Joe. I also did get a new pressure spring plate, or spring, whatever they call it. And essentially, this one looks really good, honestly. You can't even, you can hear your nail kind of run into that one just a little bit and a little bit here. I'm going to hold on to it. If I need to use it in the future, I will. But it's just barely grazed. It looks good, honestly. It looks good, but we got a new one, so we're going to use that new one anyways. I'm just going to show you some of the plates. So this is a good plate. This is a plate, and this is how it should look. If you notice here, I push down on this end and this end, doesn't rock. Doesn't rock. There's not much movement at all. It kind of sits flat. Flat. That's for the most part how a disc should sit. Now this isn't exactly a true material, but it's pretty flat and I can get a good idea of what's going on. Honestly, you should use a feeler gauge. Let me show you what happens when you have warped discs. Push down here. Hear that? That means it's lifting. Let's take a look at another one real quick. You don't even have to imagine too much of that. Look at that sound. It's a seesaw. We're gonna get rid of that seesaw. We got another one here. A little bit of a seesaw. Nope, no good. We got one more over here. Another seesaw. It's rocking back and forth. I don't have to stick a feeler gauge into that to know they're bad. Now, if I want to take you to show you a couple different things here as far as the friction metals, or the steels as they call them. This one isn't that bad actually. It looks really clean for the most part. If you notice that there's a good shine to it. There's no discoloration. There's no serious scratching or etching. And then suddenly you get to that. That is what happens when that gets in the way. And then suddenly you have hot spots and you're building up. Look at that. It's even got a little nick in it and everything. These things get in the way. They build up tension. They build up heat. They build up restriction, friction, whatever it may be. And then you have hot spots like that. Now this disc looks pretty good. Let's take a look at this one. This one's relatively clean all the way around. It's got a little bit of a hot spot there. Again, you can probably see on this side or the other where it was nicked. Let's see if we can see it. Well, it's not that visible on that one. And that's okay, but you can certainly see the hot spot there. Let me show you this last one here. This thing is a hot spot. Look at the coloration. Look at all the discoloration. All the discoloration. That's some nasty stuff. All discolored. Sits relatively flat, which is good. But man, that metal has gone through some heat cycles. It's gone through some serious stress. I don't want that in the bike anymore. This is still good. This is still good. All that's junk. All this is junk. Get rid of that. So that's what's going on with the clutch. As soon as I got that taken care of, man, we're gonna be sitting a much more pretty. I wanted to say thank you to my friend Joe the Mountain Jedi. He has been absolutely instrumental in this particular build, and this is the way I've been attacking this problem. And I can't say thank you anymore to him and his community for being so welcoming. So I'm just going through right now with a dry rag, and if you notice, these areas are kind of black and dark, and this area is kind of starting to shine up and it's nice and clean. Well, all this old stuff here, this dark kind of material, isn't from the casting or anything. It's actually chrome underneath. That's all old oil and friction material and stuff, and nasty metal or whatever. You know, it's not actual metal, but there's bits and particulates in there. If you notice, I started cleaning it up. It's nice and chrome over here. It's still kind of ugly and dark over here. Chrome, ugly and dark, ugly and dark. Starting to get kind of chromish again. So I'm going to go through and clean the entire inner or the outer primary cover, and then possibly replace those seals once I get it back on the bike. Some of the things that I want to notify first off here, it looks like a signature of some sort. I'm not 100% sure on there, and the date. I would assume from either a previous technician or something signed there, been in there. I'm not too sure why they're in there. Somebody let me know why. This is the clutch hub bearing. I have a Plantain for scale. I used a seal bearing, ordered it directly from Amazon according to Joe's specifications for the inside and outside diameter, and so far it seems to be rocking quite nicely. As you see in the previous video, that particular bearing had a lot of issues, or in this video, but just in a previous part. Here's some steels, the steel plates. Steel plates are looking good. They're brand new, and ordered those also from Amazon. Good purchase from from Joe. I'll put the link in the description for those particular clutches, or anybody asks, I can put them there for you. Friction discs, same kit. I already loaded up some oil in there so I could pre-impregnate those discs with oil by the time they got to be loaded into the hub. Here I got some broken teeth on the clutch hub center spline. That's from removing the wrong snap ring. I broke the locator ring when I had to cut that center section off, so I broke the teeth that holds off the center hub. Man, that wasn't a fun time, but hey, it is what it is. I was able to find some parts. Joe was able to hook it up with the locator ring as well as the pressure plate, but the pressure plate, we used the original one as well as the snap ring on the outside, which I had to cut off. Again, not a huge deal as far as broken parts. You know, I hate the saying, but ultimately it's just money. So ultimately what I had to do is go back to Joe's. Over to the ride factory one more time and see what's going on over there. Say hello, pick up some parts, order some parts, go back for some parts, miss some parts, go back part. It was a bit of a trip back and forth, but it was a good time. Even in the end, had to go one more time because the gasket that I picked up was incorrect. It was for a big twin. It was for a big twin, but it was for a twin cam, not a Evo engine, so I had to go back to the ride factory to pick up another gasket. I got that gasket from from Amazon. That wasn't their fault, that was my fault. I picked the wrong gasket. It is what it is. Just brought the twin down with the parts for the clutch over to Joe the Mountain Jedi down here at the ride factory down here in Ybor City, Florida. Pretty much a stone's throw away from Tampa, about an hour and a half, about an hour and 45 minutes away from me. Beautiful selection of bikes out here. Obviously they're not for sale. The majority of them, if not all of them, are actually service bikes, but we're here to bother Joe a little bit and see if he can help me out. Thank you, Joe, appreciate it. Mic's on, just turned it on right now. No leaks, just a little bit of grime and bullshit, but no leaks so far. Let it run for about 15-20 minutes, let it get at the temperature, make sure there's no leaks and everything's good, and then we'll go ahead and give it a test ride. And we're moving on to part two. Part two is already where I start to readjust and do some transmission and clutch sides, flush some fluids, make sure everything's looking good, and I got no metal bits down there. As long as that doesn't happen, I think I'm pretty happy. From there, it should be a good time riding the motorcycle. I should have it prepped for Bike Week, which is going to happen the end of February for me since I'm going to be working the rally. I'll see y'all there.